Okay, so today we're going to be taking a look at something that's been building for a while now. A growing wave of people who are just completely done with the system as it exists right now. We've got clips covering everything from burnout and survival mode to the cost of living crushing people who are doing everything right, to some deeper questions about whether the whole setup is even worth buying into anymore. There's a lot of raw, honest stuff in here today, so let's jump right into it.
Mark my words, in the next 5 years, I believe that things are going to become so unaffordable and AI is going to take over so much, and people are getting tired of it already. And this is just the beginning. I believe that people are going to start living off the grid, not in the sense that you think, like without electricity and running water. I don't think that so much. I think people are just going to start like getting RVs and with their friends and just living out of their RV and growing their own food, because people are tired of the poison in the food and things like that. Like, people are really going to start doing that. I'm telling you. I know it seems like it's not possible. Trust me, it's going to start happening. A lot of Americans are very tired of how things are right now. Everything is a fucking subscription. Your car, like everything. And it's just like bill after bill after bill, and you don't even get to enjoy any aspect of those things. You just pay for it. Like, everything is monetary. Everything is about money. That's it. Like, there's no family and friends and just yourself, getting time with yourself. Like, it's insane. Literally last week, y'all, I can show you, I worked 83 hours. I cannot make this shit up. I can show you, like, and it's insane. Like, right now I'm laying in bed and I'm like, damn, I should probably get up and try to do something, because it's so overwhelming. Like, there's so much that we have to think about all the time. We don't get a time of where we can just lay down and just rest our bodies. So I believe that's what's going to start happening. What do y'all think?
Okay, so the RV and off grid living prediction might sound extreme on the surface, but honestly, when you zoom out and look at everything we've covered on this channel, the housing costs, the subscription economy, the layoffs, the 83-hour work weeks, it starts to sound less crazy and more like a logical response to an unsustainable situation. Everything being monetized, every moment of your life having a price tag attached to it, and still not being able to get ahead. People burning out and looking for an exit from the whole structure isn't surprising at all. Whether the RV commune future actually materializes or not, the frustration driving that idea is completely real.
About a year ago, I decided that I was in too much credit card debt that I could be comfortable with. It had gotten over $10,000. I was getting killed on interest. I said, I gotta take a hold of my finances. I locked in, I created a damn budget. I stuck to it. I paid it all off in like maybe 7 to 8 months. Canceled the card because it was enabling me to spend more than I should, right? And I was really proud of it. I actually still am proud of that. As of today, I have zero credit card debt. But every day that this economy gets worse and worse and my dollar spreads a little thinner than it did a fucking day ago, I'm thinking to myself, what's the fucking point? What's the fucking, why? Fuck it, dude. I'm about to get another card, spend it on whatever the fuck I want. At least have some fun. This is bullshit.
And this one is genuinely tough to watch because you can hear the defeat in it. This person did everything right, recognized a problem, made a budget, stuck to it, paid off over $10,000 in debt in under a year, cancelled the card to remove the temptation. That is real discipline. And now they're sitting there watching the economy erode their purchasing power day by day and asking themselves, what was the point? That's not a personal finance failure. That's a morale failure caused by external forces. When doing the right thing still doesn't feel like enough, that's a really hard place to be mentally. Let me know in the comments if you felt that same thing. You locked in financially and then looked around and thought, why am I even bothering?
So last week, my apartment complex reached out to me, informing me how I've been late on my rent 18 times. I'm tearing up. I'm telling this lady, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to find me a second job. I do medical carrying on the side. I also DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Lyft. I'm trying to get everybody out the way so I can have a peace of mind. Constantly making these sacrifices of going without water, going without food, going without lights. I'm getting hit with a reconnection fee, a late fee, an overdraft fee, a 300% borrow against your check fee. She tells me, I'm sorry you're going through this. However, After your 3-day notice expires and you are on the eviction list, you are now going to stay on it. Coming out of homelessness, I never thought that my life would be where it is currently. When I walked through those doors of my apartment, I figured everything was all good. I got a car, I got a place, I got a job, and then unexpectedly, I lose my job. My brother passes away. And the list goes on and on, how I was getting smacked in my face. Somehow I kept my faith. Somehow I kept trusting his plan, even though I don't know what his plan is for me. Trusting and having faith and not knowing where your next meal is coming from, how you're going to get to work. Is your phone shut off this morning? How many days do I have until repo? It's not easy. It's traumatizing living in poverty. No matter what happens, I am going to continue to fight, keep my head up high, no matter how tired I am. I am tired.
This one is hard to sit through because of how much is stacked on one person all at once. Medical caring, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Lyft, a second job search, going without water, food, lights, and still facing eviction after coming out of homelessness, and then losing a job and a brother in the same stretch. The fees alone, reconnection fees, late fees, overdraft fees, the 300% payday loan fee, those things are specifically designed to trap people who are already struggling and make it nearly impossible to climb out. The fact that she's still fighting through all of that is genuinely remarkable. But the system she's navigating is brutal and punishes people most when they can least afford it.
The American dream never looked appealing to me. Like, I would see people work so hard, and it would just be work, 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 work for a house, for cars, for having children, for putting those children through school, for just basically building a lifestyle and then spending the rest of their lives maintaining it. I would see that and I'd be like, whoa, I don't want that. When I was 14, I was looking around and being like, this does not look that great, does not look that fun or interesting. And number one thing I want is a fun and interesting life. And the American dream just isn't going to cut it. That's actually the opposite of what I want.
And this perspective is interesting because it's not coming from somebody who tried the system and failed. It's somebody who looked at it at 14 years old and said, this doesn't look like a good deal. Work your whole life to maintain a lifestyle just to keep working to maintain it. And honestly, the older I get, the more I understand why that observation lands. The American dream, as it's been sold, is essentially spend your best years building something you spend the rest of your years trying to hold on to. That's not necessarily appealing to everyone, and I think more and more people are starting to feel that way, even if they don't say it out loud.
People gonna get real mad when they realize that they waking up to what slaves woke up to. And I'm not saying the infrastructure is the same, but I am saying that you can't go to the doctor. You might die having a baby. You ain't pulled your weight in the field today. You might not get no food. Oh, by the way, rain, snow, sleet, and hail ain't a reason not to come to work. Oh, you didn't pull your quota? Let me go ahead and take that house. Oh, you thought that you was gonna get an education. Well, who your daddy then? Now, the default is lean into the spirituality and the religion that we feed you. Ooh, so that, you find a little bit of comfort in this world. Let alone, what? Freedoms? You ain't got time to be thinking about freedom. You got a baby that's hungry, a roof that's leaking, and your boss ain't giving a damn about your familial issues or your mental health. Am I missing anything?
Okay, so this one is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, and that's probably intentional. But strip away the provocative framing for a second and look at the actual list. No healthcare access, unsafe childbirth conditions, food tied to productivity, housing taken when you fall behind, weather not being an acceptable reason to miss work. Those are not abstract historical comparisons for a huge portion of the American workforce right now. The point about defaulting to religion and spirituality as the comfort mechanism when the material conditions are rough, that's a sociological observation that academics have been making for decades. Whether you agree with every part of his take or not, some of what he's describing maps pretty directly onto the clips we've already watched today. What do you guys think? Is that comparison fair or does it go too far? Drop it in the comments.
Bro, do you realize that we're going through several different financial crises at the same time? Like, all at the same time right now. We keep trying to compare this to like, oh, this is like 1920s, or like this is like the 80s, or this is like the 70s. But we're going through all of those things at the exact same time. Like, we're dealing with them all at the same time. People talk about the 2008, like, we are dealing with several of those same things, but like 20 other things. Like, wait. Like, they just hit me at the same time, like, wow, all of these things are going on. High prices for groceries, gas, job shortages. The housing market is priced ridiculously, whether you're getting a house or you're getting an apartment. Even just simply eating. Like, eating costs so much more than it did before, and that's something you have to do. You can't skimp out on eating. Like, you see people say, oh, y'all gotta just save money, y'all not budgeting right. What do you do to budget your way out of this? Because you can't budget your way out of a bad economy. But like, it's several different things hitting at the same time. And it's like, no matter where you turn, you're going to be impacted by it. So like, how do you plan for that?
And this is one of the clearest articulations of something I've been trying to put into words for a while on this channel. It's not one crisis, it's all of them at the same time. Housing, groceries, gas, job market, healthcare, student debt, all converging simultaneously. And the just budget better advice that gets thrown around completely falls apart when the baseline costs of existing have outpaced what budgeting can fix. You can't spreadsheet your way out of groceries costing double what they did 3 years ago. You can optimize all you want and still be losing ground. That's a fundamentally different problem than the ones previous generations faced, and it requires a fundamentally different conversation.
Anyone ever thought it's weird that the American dream is just shelter? Like, if you just work hard enough, you can have a roof over your head and continue to figure out how to pay for that roof your entire existence. Hold on a second. Think how much farther we could evolve with technology and advancements and innovation if people weren't trying to figure out how the fuck they're gonna sleep at night 30 days from now. And I'm the crazy one. Wake the fuck up.
Short clip, but it lands. The reframe here is worth sitting with. The American dream has been reduced to simply having a roof over your head and figuring out how to keep it. And the point about what we could actually accomplish as a society if people weren't spending their entire mental bandwidth on survival mode is genuinely thought-provoking. Innovation, creativity, progress, those things require psychological safety and bandwidth that a lot of people simply don't have right now, because every bit of cognitive energy is going toward next month's rent. That's a real cost that doesn't show up in any economic data.
Who's the dumbass who created monthly rent payments? I have something I want to tell you. You. Why do I need to purchase permission to exist on an earth you don't own? When a person spends most of their life working just to avoid losing shelter, their consciousness stays trapped in survival mode. And that survival mode gives the elites total control over your existence. Imagine a bird paying the sky to fly. Imagine a tree paying the forest to grow. Or a fish paying the ocean to swim. Yet humans are told they must earn the right to sleep indoors on Earth. Ancient humans saw Earth as something shared. Modern systems divide nature into ownership papers and monthly payments. It's dumb as fuck.
Okay, so the bird paying the sky to fly analogy is a bit poetic, but the underlying question is one that more people are starting to ask out loud. The concept of paying monthly for the right to exist somewhere on a planet nobody created is something that sounds completely normal until you really stop and think about it. Whether you think that framing is fair or completely unrealistic given how modern society functions, the frustration behind it is coming from a very real place. People are not asking for mansions. They're asking why just having a place to sleep is this financially complicated and precarious. Let me know in the comments whether you think this kind of thinking is productive or whether it goes too far.
I'm gonna be so realistic. I'm gonna be so transparent because I ain't got no reason to lie about nothing. Y'all, realistically speaking, this economy, this day and age, is bullshit. Completely bullshit. It's no fucking way the amount of money that we are making right now today, a lot of us was wishing and hoping to make that a couple years ago. Because if you made it a couple years ago, you can get by. You was able to do what you want to. Now the money that we're making right now today ain't shit. The money we're making right now today is only enough to cover your bills. You don't have money to do what the fuck you want to. And it's so hard. A lot of times, people are trying to do like content and stuff like that just to make extra money. And then you have other people that's also trying to do that, but them same people that's trying to do what you're doing as well, they will hate on you, be like, no, somebody has to work the jobs. Motherfucker, we all out here trying to get by. Like, this shit is stressing me. It's just stressing me the fuck out. I'm not gonna lie, this shit stressed me out so bad that it's like, I'm buying groceries so many times in a fucking week because I'm trying not to buy too many groceries. I could buy groceries to meal prep for a fucking week. I'm coming out of $300 plus fucking dollars. And then I got to buy it again next week because I didn't really buy a lot of food, but you just feel like you bought a lot of food because you spent so much fucking money. This shit's dope. This is dumb. This is dumb.
And this is just raw and honest in a way I appreciate. The money you were dreaming about making a few years ago is the money you're making now, and it still doesn't feel like anything because everything costs more. That's not a personal failure. That's inflation eating your raise before you even get to spend it. And the grocery math he's describing, spending $300 plus, feeling like you bought a lot, running out again in a week, that hits because it's true. The psychological whiplash of spending what feels like a significant amount of money and still not having enough food for the week is genuinely demoralizing.
By the time I was 30, I realized that I had fucked my life up. And even though I always fucked my life up. Everybody told me go to school, go to college, get good grades, get that hefty doctorate degree, get the 6-figure job right after, do the residency, then get a 6-figure job. You'll be fine. You'll be living life beautifully. I did all that shit, plus some. And then by the time I turned 30, I was in a whole heap of debt. I was still wondering where my money was. All of a sudden, now I have this salary. I can't pinpoint where it was going. Nobody really talks about how embarrassing that is to make good money, but still actually be broke. I can say that I was a little irresponsible. I wasn't stupid, but I just never learned how money truly works. And in part 2, I'm gonna tell you exactly how much debt I had by the time I was 30, because honestly, the number still makes me nauseous.
And this is a story we've touched on before on this channel, but it never gets less frustrating. Did everything by the book, school, grades, doctorate, residency, 6-figure job, and still ended up confused about where the money was going and buried in debt by 30. The financial literacy gap doesn't care how educated you are academically. You can be incredibly smart in your field and completely lost when it comes to how money actually works. Taxes, investing, debt management, none of that is taught anywhere in the same pipeline that tells you to get the degree and everything will work out. The embarrassment of making good money and still being broke is real, and a lot of people feel it silently.
I live in a place that I can't afford. I work so very hard to not be able to afford to live in Virginia. In my area, everything is so expensive, and for what I do, for the corporation I work for, which is a very big corporation in this area, I still can't afford to live here. Nowadays, you cannot get a decent apartment without paying thousands of dollars to live there, and I'm being told I don't make enough money to buy a home where I live, where I work, where I pay taxes. I can't afford to buy a house. I don't make enough money for that. I think it's just so sad and sucky to put so much work in to look up and realize you only paid bills and taxes and you can't afford to have something of your own without making a ton of money, which you should be able to make the money to live where you work and pay taxes. It makes me so frustrated to be a single mom, to be a full-time worker, to actually do well at what I do and still not be able to have things of my own because the area does not pay its people what it costs to live in the area. That is so insane to me.
And this one cuts right to something that should genuinely not be controversial. If you work full-time in a city, you should be able to afford to live in that city. That used to be a pretty basic expectation. Now it's apparently aspirational. Single mom works hard, does well at her job, pays taxes in Virginia, and is being told she doesn't earn enough to buy a home where she works. That's not a personal failure, that's a structural problem. And the emotional weight of working this hard and looking up to realize you've only ever just covered your bills and taxes, that's exhausting in a way that's hard to describe to someone who hasn't lived it.
I am really tired of this work harder bullshit. Like, how much harder am I supposed to work before I'm actually allowed to live? I'm exhausted, I'm burnt out, I'm tired of waking up every day just to survive another day to still be broke, behind, and drowning. And maybe the problem isn't that I'm just lazy or that I'm weak. Maybe I'm trying to force myself into a lifestyle and a culture that literally does not fit who I am as a person. Because America is go, 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 go. Work, bill, stress, hustle, productivity, and then repeat. And if you're a single mom here, forget it. Because you're expected to do everything alone and still smile and act grateful for the opportunity that you have to be overworked and undersupported. I don't want a luxury life. I don't want designer shit. I don't need to be rich. I just want peace. I want enough energy at the end of the day to enjoy my child. I want to be able to cook dinner without feeling like I'm gonna collapse. And I want a home that's not a physical manifestation of my mental exhaustion. I want community. I want softness. I want family life. I want to exist without feeling like every second of my life has to be optimized or monetized. And honestly, maybe some people are built for this hustle culture. Maybe some people thrive in this environment, but I don't. And I'm tired of pretending like I do. I'm tired of masking. I'm tired of forcing myself to operate like a machine when my body and mind is screaming at me that this pace is not sustainable for you. People keep saying you just have to work harder. Meanwhile, I'm already running on fumes. Like, maybe, no, I don't need to work harder. Maybe I just need a different life. And maybe that means leaving. Maybe that means moving somewhere slower, somewhere more family oriented, somewhere where people actually know how to live instead of just survive paycheck to paycheck while pretending that this is normal. Because this shit does not feel normal anymore.
This one is going to resonate with a lot of people, especially single parents. And what I think is really important about this clip is that she's not asking for luxury. She's asking for enough energy at the end of the day to enjoy her kid and cook dinner without feeling like she's going to collapse. That is an incredibly modest ask. The hustle culture narrative that gets pushed constantly assumes everyone is built the same way and responds to the same pressure the same way. And that's just not true. Some people genuinely thrive in that environment. A lot of people are being destroyed by it and being told the problem is their mindset. The idea of leaving, slowing down, finding somewhere more community-oriented, that's not laziness. That's self-preservation.
The more I sit and think about this shit, the worse it gets. I don't know if I'm literally allergic to all the shit that's happening. Like, I don't even want to eat anymore. I literally don't even want to eat. I don't even have an appetite. I'm also discouraged from eating because of how much shit is in the food and how much it's lacking actual nutrients. I'm not nourishing my body when I eat this shit.
Shit don't even have flavor anymore. They spray shit with chemicals and pesticides and all this stuff. And I'm just over it, yo. I really am just fucking over it. And again, I spend so much energy trying to like stay sane. In the society, I look crazy because everybody's on fucking autopilot. Nothing but bots out here. That's what I see. I was also one of those bots, right? I had the lanyard with my government ID on it that buzzed me into the building, blah, blah, blah. And for some reason, I felt accomplished. Like, I felt like I made it. Like, this is something prestigious, something to be proud of. But now that I've woken up and I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. I see all these people walking into these buildings every morning. They have to go into an office for 8 hours. For the next 8 hours, you have to go into this office. We're creators. We're supposed to be creative. We're supposed to be creating things, expressing. This is really hard for me. This is really, really hard for me. I literally feel like I'm walking in the opposite direction of a fucking parade. Literally, every day. That's how it feels. And it's exhausting. Because I can't go back to sleep. Part of me wish I never woke up. You know what I mean? But I'm here. And the veil is lifted. I see what I see. And I can't just go back to functioning like normal society. Going into the office, working and paying bills and doing the things. No. I don't. I can't. My body, my soul, my spirit is rejecting it all. I can't do it. Now that I know what I know, you're questioning everything. Like, what is the point of that? Why am I doing this? This doesn't serve me. Why? Like, literally forced to navigate a system that does not benefit you. It was designed that way. And you're like, oh, you just have to figure out how to navigate it so you can try to get... No, I'm not fighting for fucking crumbs down here. I'm not. Do you know I'm a fucking god? You kidding me? Whew.
So the first half of this I'm completely with. The burnout, the autopilot observation, the feeling of walking in the opposite direction of a parade while everyone else just keeps going. That's real, and a lot of people feel it. The food quality concerns are legitimate too. We've seen plenty of content on what's actually in the food supply. But then it kind of goes into territory where I think the message starts to get a little lost. The core frustration underneath all of it, though, feeling like the system was designed for you to participate in, but not actually benefit from. That part connects to everything else we've seen in this video today.
People are like, how are we supposed to survive? How are we supposed to survive if the cost of living keeps going up, but minimum wage remains the same? The point is that you're not. You're not. People got to I just genuinely feel like everyone all around the world, specifically in the United States of America, is underestimating the severity of where it is that we're headed. People like, yo, we're headed towards a recession. No, the recession is here. We're headed towards a depression, right? A depression, one like we've never seen before. And I genuinely hope I'm wrong. I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm not here. I'm just using my pattern recognition to kind of pick up on what the government is putting down. Because when you start to really wake up, I used to be someone that was very much, I'm Democrat, fuck the Republicans, right? I'm Democrat, I'm blue, team blue. Until you wake up one day and realize that it's two wings of the same bird and they playing for the same team, and that the democracy is nothing but an illusion of choice, right? Now, see, I'm not someone who is pro-voting, right? I'm not gonna encourage people to vote, but I'm not going to disencourage people from voting as well. Why? Because it's your right and you have the right to do so. I voted. I'm in Georgia. I just voted because it's my right. Do I believe I actually made a difference? No, but I still did my civic duty, right? You might as well go vote while you still can. And then there will be people who say, well, if our votes really do matter, if our votes don't matter, right? If our votes don't matter, then how come they're trying so hard to take it away? Don't you understand the lengths that our government will go to preserve the illusion of something? They're going to take the vote away to make you feel like you're losing something when you never did. You never had something to begin with. We never had choice to begin with. I believe that the politicians in power are placed intentionally, right? I was watching this video today. Her name is The Alchemist on YouTube. If you high consciousness, you're on a higher frequency like me, I encourage you to tap in with her. She's actually the truth. And she was talking about how our government is intentionally putting synthetic frequencies inside of our universe because our government understands that, what did she say? She said that the entire body is hidden esoteric anatomy. We are the highest technology within the milestone of consciousness. And if you think that they don't know that, you're sadly mistaken. They condition you to believe. This system has conditioned you to forget your power, so you never wake up to it. But luckily for me, I remembered mine because I broke up out of the conditioning that I was forced into, subjected to, right? Unconsciously though. And a lot of y'all are still moving on a unconscious programming, can't seem to understand why your life is going in the direction that it's going. Nothing's changing because you're not changing. Nothing's changing because you haven't changed the way you perceive reality yet. And when the program is designed, the system is designed to keep you in a state of psychosis. And the program is also so funny because when you wake up, people will say, oh, you're in a state of psychosis. No, you being asleep is in a state of psychosis. That's the dream. That's the dream. That's the illusion. And so when people like myself begin to wake up and we start to talk about the things that we're perceiving from a different lens about the state of the world and who's in control. I believe that oligarchy, we're living in an oligarchy. This is no democratic state. Come on, be for real now. Use your common sense and think, right? And they've conditioned you to perceive people like myself and other people who get up on apps like this and use their freedom of speech to talk about what's actually going on, because this is what's actually going on, right? What they're telling you on the news ain't what's actually going on. That's old news. If anything, is fake news, right? And they've conditioned you to perceive people like us to be the crazy ones. That's why people don't ever choose to break out of the system. They don't ever choose to wake up because they have successfully conditioned you to be that trained student. They successfully trained you to be a student, an obedient student, to obey authority, to submit to authority, to not trust yourself, to never step out of the confines of your own mind, of your own conditioning, right? They trained you to be an obedient student because they were conditioning you to become an obedient worker. And then they also fed you the dream of the system works for you. The system works for you, so don't question it. The system works for you. But the gag is, the moral of the story is, the system works because we work. And so now my point is, what happens when the system can no longer work because we cannot work, right?
Okay, so there's a lot happening in this one, and I want to be fair about it. The opening economic observations, recession already being here, depression potentially coming, wages not keeping up, those are things we've discussed on this channel with actual data to back them up. The two-party system critique is something a huge number of people across the political spectrum genuinely share right now. But then it goes pretty deep into territory around synthetic frequencies and esoteric anatomy, and that's where I think it starts to lose some people. The underlying economic anxiety is completely valid. Where you take that anxiety and what framework you use to explain it, that's where people are going to land very differently.
I find it so weird nowadays that in society, we got people that literally try to make it a competition of who works more hours. Oh, I worked 12 hours. Or I worked 14 hours. Or I had a 40-hour week. Or I had a 68-hour week. Y'all basically having a competition to compare and contrast who's the biggest fucking slave. And it usually be men who do that shit. Like, why the fuck do y'all do it? Why is y'all making it a competition of who's the better slave? Like, can somebody explain that shit to me?
And this is the perfect clip to end on, because it reframes something that's been normalized to a point where people brag about it. Working 68 hours a week isn't a flex. It's a description of a situation most people would want to escape if they could. The competition around who's grinding harder, who's sacrificing more sleep, who's most dedicated to their job. At a certain point, you have to ask who that competition actually serves, because it's not the people having it. And honestly, after everything we've watched today, from the person rationing $6 of gas, to the single mom running on fumes, to the person who paid off 10 grand in debt and still feels hopeless, the last thing any of these people need is to be told they need to work more hours. So that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, especially your own specific experiences with burnout, the cost of just existing right now, and whether you've seriously thought about checking out of the whole system the way some of these people are describing. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.